Hey guys, back for another breakdown video. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu one. One of my students, Billy, he sent me his videos, two matches. We can take a look at them. This was, I don't know what tournament this was, but Billy's trains hard. He's doing a lot of kickboxing stuff. He's doing a lot of Jiu-Jitsu, and he has a great work ethic, and he's a smart guy, and I think he can do big things in the sport. So we're gonna get to his match here. Got a little bit of a takedown there. He's got the grip. Went for a bit of a single leg. So let's back this up a little bit. Let's see the whole exchange. So the first one, he went for a bit of a sacrifice throw there. Opponent showed good balance. And now here, right there. Okay, the reason this is not working is because his opponent's able to put too much weight on his right foot. So, okay, the stance is just a bit off for Billy. What he should do here is he should have his right leg forward. So if he had his right leg forward, so this is kind of like a wrestling type grip here, but the problem is you don't have two hands that lock. So normally when we're doing with no gi, this hand would come here, the right hand would come down here, and they would lock together, and you pick up that leg, and this leg's in front. That's perfect. But with the gi, it's not going to work as effectively here. So he's got the right hand on the collar up here. He's going to change his color up here. So he's got the right hand on the collar, and the left hand is trying to pick up the leg. So that can be tough. What he could do is sometimes you can drag the guy down with this hand, and then that grip of the leg would be able to turn him over and flip him. But the ideal situation here is to have the right leg forward, so the left leg would be back here, left foot, right foot would be between the legs here, and then you would shove with this right arm. So when you shove with the right arm, all of the opponent's weight will go onto his left leg, which will make it impossible for the guy to make this leg heavy. Now there are still some counters, but it makes it much easier to lift that leg. So again, that right leg should be forward, left leg back over here, left leg L, and he's going to shove with this one so that this leg is going to be very light, and he's going to be able to pick it up. And that was really his goal there, was to kind of try to knock him down. Let's keep continuing here. So he gave up on it a little bit. The leg was too heavy. Opponent went for a bit of a foot sweep there. Billy went to pull guard. Now, nice triangle setup right away. You can see he goes right for the arm. Now that's a good thing to do. Sometimes in kids divisions, is the triangle's hard to finish because you're not able to really dominate the head. You grab the head and pull it down and control. You can pull your shin, which is good too, which is actually what I do more of, but sometimes they can tough it out the kids. So if you go for that arm right away, the arm lock, the referee sometimes will stop it in the kids division, or the other kid will tap out. Good job. Goes belly down here a little bit, trying to stretch the arm as opponent steps over. Okay, so one thing about that arm lock, when you're in the triangle, now you'll see Billy has the arm lock, fully locked triangle, which is good. It's fully locked. But see the hand? I think the thumb is up. So like a normal arm lock, we put the thumb up. In this case, you want to put the back of the hand on the chest. So that means his thumb would be pointed this way. So when it's a fully locked triangle, the back of the hand's on the chest, and then the thumb's pointed this way. And then you raise the hips, and the elbow takes all the pressure. If he passes this leg over the head, so if the left leg goes up and over the head, then you can turn the thumb back up. So it just depends here. The guy, he also has his elbow a little bit off the center line. So the center line's here. If the elbow's here, that's where the pressure's going to be the most. But the elbow looks like it's a little curved. So I think the opponent did a good job of defending. Let's continue. Yeah, I think that elbow played a little bit of a part into it. But that was good reaction there. See how you went on top? So you get those 2 points. Take advantage if you're losing the arm lock, or you're losing the not losing the triangle, but hard to finish. Try to get him out. That's pretty much one of the worst positions. Now, if you're in, does he have the head there? I was going for the arm again. So if you can pull the head here, this is a tricky position because you kind of need to pull the head to finish it now. So for adults, it would be easy to finish. I'll just explain that quick. He wants to put two hands on the head, pull up hard as you can. The knees squeeze together, the legs squeeze together, and it's done. But in this case, you can't really pull the head, so he's got to go back to the arm. We'll see if he puts the back of the hand there. Keep in the position. Again, this wears the guy out, so this can really deflate your opponent's confidence here, tire him out. So he's got the hand now. So his opponent's wrapping now. Wrapping the body up. So this position can be a little tricky. He could switch to omoplata here if he slides his leg. Let's see here. If he slides this leg over the shoulder, kind of falls off to the side, he can go to an omoplata. But he's got a good position here. Sometimes you can start to put the knuckles in the neck. So see how the arm is here. The leg is already cutting off the blood here. It's just you've lost this arm. It's too bad they're both wearing the same color gi, but the opponent's right arm is around the leg now. So if Billy grabs the collar with his hand on this side of the neck and kind of pushes into the artery here, he can make the guy start to bring this hand out to defend or potentially choke him. So the leg would be on this side. His knuckles would be 4 fingers in the gi like this and pushing into the neck. You can't just shove your knuckles in the neck, but if you grab the gi and roll it in, you can apply the choke that way. Let's go on here. But he's got control now. Time's running out. Kids division's a little shorter. Let's get the win. Oh, I think I'm see I'm saying that one right now. Watch my right hand here. Kind of showing him to push it into the neck. Yeah. This opponent's doing a good job trying to bridge out of there, but it's a tough position. So there he goes. Now he's digging the knuckles in. This might make the opponent react. Okay, got the roll. So again, he can't pull on the head in the kids division, but he's pulling on the shin and doing a good job. Big thing here, we got to get that arm across more. So why isn't this working? You see that right arm? This is what's saving him here. So the right arm is here. It's not across the body. We got to lift our hips and get across the body. But sometimes your hips can get in the way, so that arm is kind of safe here. So what Billy should do is lift his hips up high, and then the arm will be able to pass across, and then drop his hips back down, and then that choke will be much more solid now. He's going for Kimura on the other arm here. Going back to the arm. Nice job. Pulling the shin now. Looks a little tighter now. I like to see this foot. See how it's bent here? I like to see it bent a bit more here. You know, trapping on the outside, closing it up a little bit better. Make him a little bit more pressure. See, sometimes the kids, they can take it forever. Just take the pressure, take the pressure. He's pulling the shin. Now the foot's a little bit better situation. He's going back to mount, and he taps. Nice job. All right, we're going to switch to the second video now. So again, we got the guard pull. Look for him to set up that triangle again. He really likes that triangle. So you see there, Billy, he's got the grips. So this got a little tricky. Billy had to stand up here because he felt his opponent putting some pressure here. The opponent stood up. So as soon as the opponent stood up, he should switch more to collar sleeve guard. I think that would be better. See this hand? This hand's creating problems here. So if you see this hand here, this is annoying. So the opponent's going to start to walk over that leg. So Billy can lay back a little more. Left hand on the sleeves, good grip. He can put his right hand in this collar here, the close collar, 4 fingers in. And then if he could scoot into position, put this foot on the bicep, step that foot up. But his opponent starts to walk, does a good job of moving around and threatens him a little bit, but he pops back to his feet pretty agile. There you go. Pulls again, gets a little bit better grip. So this is difficult here, and this is something actually I've talked with Billy about and we've been working on, is that double collar grip. You see how he has 2 collar grips? I think that makes you feel like you have a lot of control over their body, but the problem is all their hands are free. So they're grabbing your leg, grabbing your collar, grabbing your other leg, passing side to side, and it can be a little bit problematic. And if you do go to lift him, I know a lot of times he tries to lift him up this way, which can work, but the guy has both of his hands to post, so he's free. So you really have to dominate one sleeve, and then one collar is good. and then the other foot can dominate the other arm, because I know you want to really kind of, we want to kill those arms. We can't let them grab us. So let's see what happens here. See how the guy's reaching back in the pants, but he walked into a triangle there. Nice job, Billy. Good setup. So maybe that double collar gave him a little bit of a pull to be able to yank his opponent's head down. So let's go back to why that happened. So his opponent's trying to stand up and trying to do the bullfighter, but he's so dominated by those two hands, you see, that he gets his head pulled down. So the big thing, the movement here that we're talking about, is when you're going to stand up and you're going to pass with the legs, you got to take one of these grips off. I would take these off. This probably feels very annoying. You see, so you do two hands on one wrist, and then you kind of squat, stand up a little bit. Head has to go vertical, and then you're going to pop your head back as you rip the grip off. And I would even take probably both of them off and then start to pass. Anything that's annoying, you got to deal with that first. And this gives Billy the chance to shoot the triangle right there. See? Okay, so this is good. He's having a little trouble locking here, so how can we clean that up? So right now he's trying to lock that triangle, and I think that's why we got into that angle where the triangle was locked with the foot this way a little bit. Is that as you have the ankle, it's locked now. His opponent's not going to be able to posture up, so Billy's going to take his left foot and put it in the hip. That's going to enable him to spin his head around this way, which will enable this leg to go across the neck more and then be able to lock the fully locked triangle there. And then that would be a much better angle, much more pressure, and his foot would be in that position we're talking about where it would be curled down this way instead of curled that way, that left leg. Let's see what happens here. So it's just trying to close it by pulling down, which can work sometimes, depending on your length of your legs and the shoulders. And again, his opponent's trying to wrap up that leg again and popped out of it. Or is he out of it? It's hard to tell in the dark ease. Yep. He's doing a good job of controlling the head. You can see he's setting up the triangle again. So his left hand is holding the head down a little bit, maintaining here. And then he's going to try to push this arm, I'm guessing, and try to bring his knee inside and shoot the triangle again. Have another opportunity. He already knows the guy is a little bit vulnerable to the triangle, so it's a good time for him to try it again. Let's see if he does it. Okay, his opponent's trying to put the hands on the armpit, stand up, and put the knee in the middle. It was a good job. So force Billy to open up the guard. So he felt a little pressure on the pass and he bailed, got back to his feet. Again, just pulling guard here. He's got the double collar again, so looking to shoot that triangle again. If his opponent doesn't break the grips, he's going to get his head yanked down. But it's a bit of a fight here. You see the guy's got both pants, so he's running side to side, and it's going to be a bit of a battle here. See there, he's almost getting around, but Billy's scooting away. Looped his leg over, a little bit of a high leg. He's back to guard. Definitely throwing the guy off with a double collar grip, but it makes him work as well because his opponent's got his pants. So one thing to think about there is try to keep your opponent from grabbing both hands on your pants. So you see one, the other one's over here, and that's when the work is going to begin. It's going to be tough. So I always like to try to take one hand, grab by the end of the sleeve, kick my leg, rip that off. Try to rip one off. So you can get a De La Riva guard, or you can get a collar sleeve guard, something other than defending this position. Those opponents trying to run. They're trying to keep those legs in the way. It's a bit of a half guard position, closes back up again. So the longer you spend in the closed guard, the time's winding down, especially in kids division. Sometimes the kids, they get in this closed guard and we kind of get stuck in this. So Billy's got him stuck in the closed guard, and the longer he waits to try to open that guard, the worse things get, especially if Billy's attacking with submission. So the key, especially in these short matches, is you got to get that guard open. You got to stand up, you got to open those legs, because that can really dictate who controls the match. And then all of a sudden at the end, you're rushing to score points. Tough to see at this angle what's going on, but again, I think the guy's going back. He had some success by putting both hands under the armpit, walking his knees away, and standing up and putting the knee in the middle. Billy's getting more aggressive now. He's coming back up. Looks like he wants to get back to his feet. A bit of a scramble there. Again, I think he's looking for that triangle, trying to get his knee out. You can do it with the belt. That was a good idea. A double collar grip. Again, the guy's going for a bullfighter pass. It's not working as well as he wants to. I think normally he would... Ooh, let's get back there. Normally he would be passing with that. It looks like it's a good pass for the top guy. But Billy has his head broken down, so it's in an awkward position. And he gets the balloon type sweep there. So how did that work here? The guy dropped his head, leaned forward. Billy popped him up. And it worked in that position. His opponent immediately tried to get back on top, but exposed his back. Got the hooks in. Nice job. Okay, almost lost one hook there. Now, so in this position, it's important to keep those feet closer together. You see the feet here? So you want to keep them closer together, no space. But don't cross them. Okay, from the mount, I'll cross them. Let's see if I can highlight that. So the feet here, the bottom of the feet should be like they're clapping together. Never cross, but clapping together. That way when you push your hips down, the hook won't slip out. Let alone if this guy knows how to kick back and kind of get his knee in and defend that hook. So let's see here. He stretches them, but they're apart, so it slips out. And you might not get it back against some people. Billy's looking for the choke here. He's kind of falling forward a little bit. At this point, I like to kind of make double underhooks. So I don't fall off. I'll make a double underhook here, underhook on the other side, and I'll back the hips up. Try to get a better flattening motion, and then from there, once I flatten them out, I can let go of the double underhooks, start going for the chokes. But the guy's just a little bit up, so that's why it's a little awkward. You might be able to shake out of here. So if he backs those hips up, see how the opponent's a little bit on his knees? I can make it a little tricky. Billy feels like he's falling off. He's got the collar, though, I think. So let's see here. Let's say he has the collar. It looks like he has it a bit. So his left hand's in the collar. How can we bow and arrow from this position? See if I can get a better angle. Okay, this should be good. So if he was backed up just a little bit more, his left hand's in the collar here, cross collar. His head would go over here, where the referee's foot is. His right hand would reach around this leg, you see, around that thigh. And then his left leg would dip over this shoulder. See this left arm here? Put the left leg over the arm. And then his hips would press down, if that makes sense. So let's explain that again. So left hand's in the collar. Billy would swing his head over here and lay it on the floor so he gets perpendicular. And then from there, he would reach his right hand around the leg. So he'd get the bow and arrow position. And this leg would go over this shoulder. And it can go like flat, or sometimes it hooks over the arm. Then you get the bow and arrow there, if that makes sense. This is a little tricky. Try to finish it. When we're facing up, we got the bow and arrow. It's kind of an easy option. But from here downwards, you have to have a specific setup to that. Let's see if you can finish this choke. Yeah, I think that's why he's struggling. He's just trying to pull with one. You don't really have that counter pressure, so it's just this arm pulling, a lot of strength, and the guy's he's able to tough it out. So I think that bow and arrow would have been good. Or sometimes if you have that collar, can't really see here because the gis are the same color, but if he has the left hand in the collar, the right hand can go under the armpit and then behind the neck. And you can put that pressure there, that counter pressure to finish him off. That was a good win. He both showed some good movements. The other guy on top was good at the bullfighter. Billy worked the sweep. He had a triangle opportunity. And then ultimately, his opponent put himself in a little bit of problem. As soon as he got swept, he turned and gave his back, as opposed to recomposing guard, getting back into the sweep position, and tried to get back on top and even it out. Well, it was a great match. Billy did some great stuff in that match. Like I said, he has a lot of potential. He's working hard, and he's hungry to learn. So thanks so much for sending in that video, Billy, and thanks to everybody else for watching, and I'll be back soon with some more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu breakdowns.